Hi, I'm Jasmine Kahlia, and I'm presenting my initial stages for my newest piece, Life Cycle of a Bonfire. I wanted to bring through loads of my different art forms as a multidisciplinary artist, and through this piece, I wanted to explore looping, soundscaping, life painting, prose and poetry, alongside filmmaking as part of this piece. So the stage layout will be pretty unorthodox for some of the projects that I've done beforehand, where as in I would have 4 easels on stage, a table of props, and then essentially like a music station towards the front of the stage. So let's get into the idea, life cycle of a bonfire. I have loads of different emotional spaces and sounds that I want to explore. So beginning with scene 1, I wanted to explore beatboxing and rap, and at the moment this is a prototype beatbox pattern that I will be using, which eventually builds into a crescendo. Just say the concept of the piece is about different stages of grief and kind of finding acceptance and peace throughout that. So through that I'll be kind of exploring it through soundscaping, visual arts and filmmaking, and also live performance on stage. So scene 2 will have a completely different energy as compared to scene 1. And this will explore, so it's in non-chronological order. Scene 2 essentially is what happens before we get to scene 1, and through this part I wanted to kind of explore not necessarily innocence, but definitely thinking about, in comparison to a traumatic time, how the moment before that shapes you and how you eventually try and regain that. So yeah, there'll be loads of different elements in scene 2 where, you know, I'll be reading poetry, prose, and through exploring that through the act of like unwrapping and de-stemming flowers. This is a piano composition that I aim to have pre-recorded and played in the background for scene 2. So hopefully it brings the audience into that space and they see it as the opening point. So scene 3 at the minute doesn't have any music, but I believe that it will be a soundscape, because I normally use Ableton Live as well to bring this together. So I'll be exploring anxiety, underlying energy. There'll be elements of nostalgia, and the aim is to kind of bring the moment back to serenity. But it's really a pivotal point in the piece where the protagonist reaches a point of frustration. They're frantically trying to search for an answer, and it comes through with one of the props. They'll have an open book reading the story from back to front and eventually becoming frustrated and ripping the pages out. And it's called there's an element of that which is anticipatory grief. Moving into scene 4, it will kind of take on a similar energy to scene 2, obviously without the same level of brightness as scene 2, but essentially this will be culminating from like the moments after a complex burst of passion, and this will be really about acceptance, reconciliation, and acceptance, final acceptance, and reshaping what serenity and what happiness looks like after a traumatic event. So this will also lead back into scene 3 in terms of the image of the book and replacing the pages that have been taken out of the book, and replacing the flowers from previous scenes. So hopefully you've enjoyed my presentation, and yeah, look forward to putting it together.